The rain tasted like regret. Each drop a tiny hammer blow against the windowpane, mirroring the relentless pounding in my chest. It had started subtly, a casual conversation here, a lingering touch there. I dismissed it as harmless, a fleeting connection in the relentless hum of city life. Ilara, my wife, my partner for 10 years, seemed distant. Her eyes held a flicker I couldn't decipher, a secret language I wasn't privy to. Then came the late nights, the fabricated work trips, the sudden interest in a new, expensive perfume. I tried to ignore the growing chasm between us, clinging to the memories of a shared past, of laughter and dreams whispered in the dark. But the illusion shattered like glass the other night. A misplaced data chip, a forgotten file on her personal device, a cascade of images, a digital confession of a love I thought was exclusively mine. Now, a holographic projection of her with another man dances before me, a cruel mockery of the life we built together. The sterile, futuristic apartment feels like a prison, the advanced technology a constant reminder of the emotional gulf that now separates us. I feel utterly alone, adrift in a sea of digital ghosts and broken promises. The wilting rose on the table is a pathetic symbol of our withered love, a silent testament to the betrayal that has irrevocably altered my world. My fingers brushed against the cool, smooth surface of the projection. It felt hollow. A phantom touch, devoid of warmth, of the familiar comfort I once associated with her. The image shimmered, distorted, as if struggling to maintain its reality. It was a cruel illusion, a digital ghost of the woman I thought I knew. I wanted to reach out, to pull her back into the tangible world, to demand an explanation, but my hand recoiled as if burned. The holographic code swirling around me seemed to mock my helplessness, a constant reminder of the technological sophistication of her deceit. Each line of code felt like a barbed wire fence, separating me from the woman I loved. The memories flooded back, our first date, our wedding day, the birth of our daughter. All tainted now, stained with the bitter taste of betrayal. The feeling of losing her, not to death, but to another, is a profound and agonizing pain. I am trapped in a digital purgatory, haunted by the ghost of a love that no longer exists. The bar was a refuge from the suffocating silence of my apartment, a temporary escape into a world of artificial camaraderie. The neon signs, pulsing with alien symbols, cast a lurid glow on my face, highlighting the lines of exhaustion and despair. I ordered a synth whiskey, its artificial warmth doing little to thaw the coldness that had settled deep within my bones. The robotic bartender, with its emotionless metallic face, polished glasses with mechanical precision, oblivious to the turmoil raging inside me. I watched the condensation drip down the glass, each drop a tiny representation of my sorrow. I tried to rationalize it, to find a logical explanation for her actions, but there was none. The truth was a brutal, undeniable reality: she had chosen another. And in choosing him, she had chosen to dismantle our life, piece by painful piece. The synth whiskey burned going down, a futile attempt to numb the ache in my heart. The futuristic setting, with its promise of progress and innovation, felt hollow and meaningless. It couldn't fill the void she had left behind. I walked aimlessly through the rain-slicked streets, a ghost in my own city. The neon lights reflected in the puddles, creating a distorted, fragmented image of my own despair. The futuristic cityscape, with its towering buildings and holographic advertisements, felt cold and impersonal. Each passing face was a stranger, indifferent to my pain. I longed for a familiar touch, a comforting word, but there was no one to turn to. The rain plastered my hair to my face, mirroring the tears I refused to shed. I felt like an obsolete piece of technology, discarded and forgotten. The city, once a symbol of opportunity and progress, now felt like a vast, empty wasteland. I walked on, driven by a desperate need to escape the suffocating weight of my emotions, but there was nowhere to run. The rain continued to fall, washing away the remnants of my hope. I held the photograph in my trembling hands, the image a poignant reminder of what we had lost. It was a picture from our honeymoon, taken on a sun-drenched beach. Ilara and I were young, full of dreams and aspirations. Our faces were radiant with happiness, our eyes sparkling with love. It seemed like a lifetime ago, a distant memory from a different reality. The warmth of the sun, the sound of the waves, the feel of her hand in mine, it all felt so real, so tangible. Now, the image was a cruel mockery of the present, a stark contrast to the cold, empty space that now occupied my life. I traced the outline of her face with my finger, a silent prayer for a return to those simpler days. But I knew it was impossible. The photograph was a beautiful lie, a frozen moment in time that could never be relived. It was a reminder of the happiness that had been stolen from me, a constant source of pain and regret. I stared at my reflection in the rain-streaked window, barely recognizing the man staring back. The face was gaunt, etched with lines of weariness and sorrow. My eyes, once full of life and laughter, were now hollow and haunted. I felt like a stranger in my own skin, disconnected from my own emotions. The city lights reflected in my eyes, creating a distorted, unsettling effect, a visual representation of the fractured state of my mind. I tried to find a glimmer of hope, a spark of resilience, but there was nothing. The betrayal had stripped me bare, leaving me vulnerable and exposed. I questioned everything, our relationship, our future, even my own sanity. The reflection seemed to mock me, a silent reminder of my failure. I was a broken man, adrift in a sea of despair. My office felt like a battlefield, strewn with the debris of a shattered life. Papers overflowed from my desk, covered in scribbled notes and frantic calculations. Empty coffee cups littered the surface, a testament to sleepless nights and endless worry. The broken picture frame, lying face down amongst the clutter, was a silent symbol of the irreparable damage. A single, dried flower, a forgotten memento from a happier time, lay on top of the papers, a poignant reminder of what I had lost. I tried to focus on my work, to immerse myself in the sterile environment of the office, but my mind was elsewhere. The weight of betrayal pressed down on me, suffocating me with its relentless grip. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, amplifying the sense of unease. I felt like a prisoner in my own life, trapped in a cycle of grief and anger. 3 a.m. The digital display on my watch glared back at me, a stark reminder of the endless night. Sleep eluded me, replaced by a relentless torrent of thoughts and emotions. The silence of the apartment was deafening, broken only by the hum of the city outside. I replayed the events of the past few weeks in my mind, searching for clues, for explanations, for a way to make sense of the chaos. But there were no answers, only questions. The hours ticked by, each one a painful reminder of the time that had been stolen from me. I stared out the window at the darkened cityscape, feeling utterly alone in the vastness of the world. The future stretched before me, bleak and uncertain. I found myself seeking solace in the sterile environment of a therapist's office. The minimalist decor, with its soft lighting and calming colors, was intended to create a sense of peace, but it did little to soothe my troubled mind. I sat on the couch, feeling exposed and vulnerable, as I recounted the story of my betrayal. The therapist listened patiently, offering words of comfort and understanding. But her words felt hollow, inadequate to address the depth of my pain. I felt like a broken machine, unable to be repaired. I questioned my own worth, my own judgment, my own ability to trust. The therapist spoke of healing, of moving forward, but I couldn't imagine a future without the woman I had loved. My emotions manifested as a chaotic algorithm, a tangled web of code and data streams. The holographic projection displayed the complex patterns of my mind, a visual representation of the turmoil raging within. Lines of code flowed and intertwined, creating a dizzying and overwhelming effect. The colors were dark and muted, with flashes of red and blue, mirroring the intensity of my pain. I felt like a malfunctioning program, unable to function properly. The algorithm seemed to mock me, a constant reminder of the complexity of my emotions. I couldn't control the flow of data, couldn't rewrite the code, couldn't escape the chaos. From the rooftop of my apartment building, I gazed out at the sprawling cityscape, a testament to human ingenuity and progress. The towering skyscrapers and flying vehicles seemed indifferent to my pain, oblivious to the human drama unfolding below. I felt like an outsider, disconnected from the vibrant life that pulsed through the city's veins. The vastness of the metropolis amplified my sense of isolation. I was a solitary figure, adrift in a sea of millions. The city lights twinkled like distant stars, a cold and impersonal display of artificial beauty. I found an old music box tucked away in a forgotten corner of the attic. It was made of dark wood, intricately carved with scenes of dancing figures and blooming flowers. I wound the key, and a delicate melody filled the room, a bittersweet reminder of happier times. The music was hauntingly beautiful, evoking memories of laughter and love. It was a temporary escape from the pain, a fleeting glimpse of a world that no longer existed. The music box felt like a tangible connection to the past, a reminder of the woman I had loved. I sat on a park bench, watching children play, their laughter echoing through the air. Their faces were filled with joy, their movements carefree and unburdened. It was a painful reminder of what I had lost, the innocence, the happiness, the future that had been stolen from me. I longed to recapture that sense of wonder, to feel the lightness of being. But the weight of betrayal held me captive. The children's laughter felt like a cruel mockery of my sorrow. I sought refuge in the cold, sterile environment of a futuristic laboratory, surrounded by advanced technology and complex machinery. I immersed myself in data, in algorithms, in the pursuit of logic and reason, hoping to escape the irrationality of my emotions. I observed data on a holographic display, searching for patterns, for answers, for a way to understand the unpredictable nature of human behavior. But the technology offered no solace, no comfort. It was just another distraction from the pain. I found myself drawn to the dim glow of a futuristic bar, seeking a brief respite from the relentless ache in my heart. The bartender, a sleek, metallic robot with a surprisingly friendly expression, served me a drink. We exchanged a few words, polite, perfunctory, but there was no genuine connection. The robot's vacant gaze reflected my own sense of isolation. I felt like a ghost, observing life from the periphery. The rain poured down, washing away the grime of the city, but not the stain of betrayal from my soul. I stood on a bridge, looking down at the swirling water, watching the city lights reflect in the dark surface. The rain mirrored my tears, a constant reminder of my sorrow. I felt like I was drowning in grief, unable to find a way to surface. I found a crumpled letter in my pocket, a forgotten memento from a happier time. It was addressed to me, written in Ilara's elegant handwriting. I unfolded it carefully, my heart pounding in my chest. The words were blurred, difficult to read, but I could make out fragments of a message, apologies, explanations, regrets. But the words were not enough. The damage had been done. The photograph showed us on our wedding day, young and full of hope. We were both smiling, radiant with love. It seemed like a lifetime ago, a distant memory from a different reality. The warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, the feeling of belonging, it all felt so real, so tangible. But the photograph was just a frozen moment in time, a reminder of what I had lost. I stared blankly at the wall, my mind a void of emptiness. The room was dark and empty, a reflection of the hollowness within me. I felt like a ghost, adrift in a desolate landscape. There was no joy, no hope, no purpose. Just an endless expanse of nothingness. 6 a.m. The first rays of dawn crept through the curtains, illuminating the room with a pale, ethereal light. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to find the will to get up. The weight of my grief pressed down on me, suffocating me with its relentless grip. I felt like I was trapped in a nightmare, unable to wake up. I started walking, not knowing where I was going, but knowing that I couldn't stay in the darkness forever. I carried a small bag, containing a few essentials, a change of clothes, some money, a few memories. I was leaving behind the wreckage of my life, seeking a new beginning, a chance to rebuild. The train pulled away from the city, carrying me towards an uncertain future. I looked out at the passing landscape, watching the buildings shrink into the distance. I didn't know what awaited me, but I was determined to face it. The journey would be long and difficult, but I was ready to start anew. The sun rose on a new day, painting the sky with hues of hope and promise.